Good morning, my lovely students. So we had already finished part 1 of chapter number 1, economics. Now we'll be doing the second part, and that is macroeconomics. So all of you are ready to go? Here we are. So what is macroeconomics? इसमें एग्जामिनेशन में आपसे क्या पूछा जा सकता है? डेफिनेशन जैसा चीज नहीं होता. एज आई टोल्ड यू, क्वेश्चन नंबर 1 के ए या बी पार्ट में 1A, B, C कहीं पर भी you can get reasoning or assertion में या put in one economic word. सभी जगह पे ये चैप्टर नंबर 1 पूरा इंपॉर्टेंस रखता है. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट स्टडिंग नाउ. सो मैक्रोइकोनॉमिक्स की डेफिनेशन, व्हेन यू से मैक्रो मतलब बड़ा, राइट? इट इज लाइक एन एग्रीगेट ऑफ everything which is happening inside the economy. So when we say macroeconomics, it is talking about employment, it is talking about national output, it is talking about national income, it is talking about inflation, trade cycles. So definition के terms में आप कोई भी एक definition चाहे तो याद कर ले. नहीं मन कर रहा है याद करने का, मत करिए. But please remember, macroeconomics talks about relationship between larger aggregates. Relationship between larger aggregates such as कितना employment है, क्या savings हैं, क्या investments हैं. So just try to memorize this कि अगर मुझे macroeconomics के लिए 2 marks की definition लिखनी हो तो what is it? Macroeconomics is that branch of economics or that part of economics which tries to find out a relationship between larger aggregates. That is volume of employment, total amount of savings, investment, national income, etc. याद हो गई सबको? National income, volume of employment, investments. Just remember 2-3 चीजें. It is a relationship between larger aggregates. So one part is done. Okay, definition याद नहीं आ रही है. तो guys, this is a beautiful. Oh, the screen is not going down. Let me check it out. Why is it not going down? So there it is. Now guys, if you do not remember the definition of macroeconomics, please remember the scope of macroeconomics. You remember the scope of macroeconomics, you will be able to write about macroeconomics. Macroeconomics का scope क्या है? It talks about employment. It talks about income. What goods are being produced? What is the national income of the country? How many people are getting employed? What is the level of unemployment? And when we talk about employment, we need to talk about consumption and investment. So it's a theory of consumption and investment. And of course, when we talk about consumption and investment, we talk about business cycles. We'll be talking about all this in detail later on in the chapters. So macroeconomics is a theory of income and employment. Macroeconomics is a theory of general price level and inflation. General level of goods which are being, price of the goods which are being produced in the economy. Inflation क्यों है, क्यों चीजें महंगी हो रही हैं. Economics, macroeconomics talks about it. When we talk about growth and development, दोनों words अलग हैं. Growth is a narrower word and development is a wider term. I would put it like this. Narrow क्यों? क्योंकि when I say growth, it may just talk about, okay, what is the national income per person or per unit. But when we talk about development, it is talking about the overall development of the country, of the economy as a whole. So macroeconomics is a theory of income and employment. It is a theory of general price level and inflation. It is a theory of growth and development. And at the same time, it's a theory of distribution. Distribution of the income which is being produced. What is it that is being shared by the entrepreneur? He wants profit. What is it that the workers want? They are looking out for wages. What is it that the person who has invested money looking for? He's looking out for rent. So how the national income is being distributed is being discussed in the theory of distribution. So macroeconomics is a theory of income, employment, general price level and inflation, theory of economic growth and development, and theory of distribution. So guys, I hope याद हो गया है आप सबको that what is the scope of macroeconomics. अब हमने scope की बात तो कर ली. Now let's talk about the features of macroeconomics. Features of economics, macroeconomics, as you can see, गाइज आई एम यूजिंग योर टेक्स्ट बुक, प्लीज रिमेंबर दिस. मैं आपको हेल्प करूंगी याद करने में. प्लीज आई एम रिपीटिंग, हेडर्स वही यूज करिए जो आपकी टेक्स्ट बुक में है, ठीक है. तो फीचर्स ऑफ मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स में एज यू कैन सी इट्स अ स्टडी ऑफ एग्रीगेट्स, राइट. एग्रीगेट्स, यस, इट टॉक्स अबाउट द इकोनॉमी एज अ होल. तो कितना प्रोडक्शन हो रहा है, क्या नेशनल इनकम है, क्या एम्प्लॉयमेंट है. इट इज टॉकिंग अबाउट all what is happening in the economy. So it's a theory or it's a study of aggregates. It's an income theory. हम अभी बात करेंगे नेशनल इनकम के बारे में. So it is talking about that how income is supposed to be calculated, what are the methods of calculating the national income which is being generated in the economy. इसके बारे में हम डिटेल में आगे पढ़ेंगे. It is a theory of general equilibrium. Yes, microeconomics may we tried to find out a relationship between demand and supply, but here it will be talking about general equilibrium between the goods which are being produced and which are being supplied in the economy. So it is talking about the general price level in whole. Next, yes, it talks about the interdependence of various elements in the economy. So what is the change in the investments which is going to result in the change in the level of income. आप कितना पैसा अभी इन्वेस्ट करोगे या कितना पैसा आप सेव करोगे, उससे इकोनॉमी में क्या फर्क पड़ने वाला है. दिस इज व्हाट macroeconomics is going to talk about. So it talks about relationship or interdependence of various elements in the economy or various variables, economic variables के बारे में बात करता है. It's a lumping method. बिकॉज वो ऐसा पार्शली आपको तोड़ तोड़ के चीजें नहीं पढ़ाता. इट टॉक्स अबाउट इकोनॉमी एज अ होल, सो इट्स अ लंपिंग मेथड. इट टॉक्स अबाउट ग्रोथ, इट स्टडीज ग्रोथ. यस, सो जस्ट अ सेकेंड. ओके, लेट मी मेक इट लिटिल बिग. ओके, सो it talks about growth, it talks about, guys, it is talking about the general price level. General price level is the average price of all goods and services which are being produced in the economy. And yes, it is policy oriented because it suggests suitable economic policies to promote economic growth, general employment, control of inflation and depression. So अगर मुझे याद करना हो कि भाई हाउ डू आई रिमेंबर द फीचर ऑफ मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स. ओके, एक बार ए आया है, देर आर 2 आईज, सो आई स्क्वायर. देर इज 3 times जी, सो जी क्यूब. देर इज 1 L and 1 P, राइट. सो A is for aggregate. So macroeconomics is a theory of aggregation. A. There are 2 I's. One I talks about your interdependence and one talks about income theory. याद रहेगा, 2 I square, A I square. Then it talks about 3 बार G का रेफरेंस है, 1 बार ग्रोथ है. So you can write down it. It's a macroeconomics talks about growth. Second G है, it talks about general price level, that is the average price of goods which are being produced in the market, goods and services which are being produced in the market. That's a second G. And the third G is that it is talking about the general equilibrium in the economy. आपने इतनी बात भी लिखी तो नंबर मिलेंगे. Then I said it is talking about L, that it is a lumping theory. Macroeconomics is a lumping theory. It does not slice. It talks about economy as a whole. And yes, it is policy oriented because it suggests suitable policies to promote economic growth, general employment, control of inflation and depression. तो याद हो गया guys, A I square G cube L P. अब guys, last let us talk about the importance of macroeconomics. So when we talk about the importance of macroeconomics, एज सच ये कोई डायरेक्ट क्वेश्चन आपको थियोरी की तरह नहीं आने वाला है, बट फिर भी अगर इंपॉर्टेंस याद करना हो तो यस, वो इकोनॉमी एज अ होल को फंक्शन करने के लिए इज व्हाट वी नीड मैक्रो इकोनॉमिक्स. सो it talks about the importance of macroeconomics is the functioning of an economy. It gives us an idea of the functioning of the economic system as a whole. किस तरीके से various variables which are operating उनको समझने में हमको मदद करता है. That's the benefit of macroeconomics. It helps us to understand the functioning of the economy as a whole. Functioning. Next comes up, it talks about क्यों fluctuations हो रहे हैं income में, output में, employment में. So it helps us to understand the economic fluctuations or how can we control them, right? ये हम अलग अलग chapters में जब पढ़ेंगे तो we'll be able to understand. But that's what macroeconomics does to us, that it helps us to understand that why there are fluctuations in income and the output and the employment, and it also gives us solutions. Yes, it talks about the national income. How do we calculate national income? Which is very, very important. What is the per capita income किसी country में, तो वो कैसे calculate होती है, उसके लिए we need to calculate the national income. So macroeconomics helps us to calculate that national income. It helps us to understand that when you say you are a developed country or a nation, then it is just not about income. We need to talk about inequalities. We need to talk about that what is the level of poverty in your country or what is the standard of living in your country. So macroeconomics helps you to understand all this. So I hope it helps. अगर आपको कुछ नहीं 4-5 बातें भी लिखनी हो, अभी और भी है, बट यहाँ के पन्ने पे अगर बात करनी हो तो अगर हमें it helps us to understand the functioning of the economics, the functioning of the economic system. It helps you to understand how to calculate the national income. It helps you to understand that why there are fluctuations between output, employment, how to help them solve those problems. It helps you to understand the economic development. It helps us to understand how the economy is performing. It is measuring कितने goods and services produce हुए एक period में with the goods and services being produced in the other period. So it helps you to understand the performance of the economy as a whole. It helps you to understand the various economic variables, such as, again, talking about income, output, employment, general price level. You understand all the major economic problems existing. So that's what macroeconomics does to you. It helps you to understand those macroeconomic problems. It helps you to understand and analyze the general level of employment and output in an economy. So guys, आपको अगर 3-4 भी importance लिखनी पड़ी कि क्यों macroeconomics important है, I think all of you will be able to remember. All of them are important. It helps you to study the macroeconomic variables. It helps you to understand the level of employment. It helps you to understand the economic development of an economy. It helps you to understand the national income. It helps you to understand the economic fluctuations. It helps you to understand the functioning of an economy. And then with this, we come to the end of chapter number 1. And I hope you all not only enjoyed learning it, but at the same time, आपको कुछ याद भी हो गया. अगर आपको हमारा लेक्चर पसंद आया है, तो please do like, comment and subscribe to our channel.